So she has virgin hair and she wants to go a little blonder, so I'm just going to section her off in the 4 quadrants like you would do a retouch or an all over color. And at the back of the head, I'm going to combine those into 2 sections, one section, so you don't have to section it, I just did anyway. So the technique I'm doing is a balayage technique. I'm going to use a paintbrush instead of a color brush, so it just has really jagged bristles at the end, so it helps blend really well. So I like using that for sure. So I'm going to take about an inch section of hair going up the head. I'm going to start in the front as well because I want that to be brighter than the back, just around the face. So I'm going to take an inch section, then I'm going to section it into a 1/2 inch section. So it's like a pattern. I have a colored section, a non-colored section, a colored section, a non-colored section going all the way up her head. And I'm just going to feather in this lightener, getting closer to her scalp around the face. So it's kind of angled. Sometimes I do the V, sometimes I just do angled back. Depends on what section I'm on, and you want it to be different each section, so you can kind of do whatever you want as you go along. So this brush is amazing. It's from Michaels. It's awesome to do. It's super cheap. I don't know, 99 cents, something like that. But it's great. It's my favorite one to use. I have 2 sizes. I have a bigger one and a medium one, and then I have a really small one, but I don't tend to use that one very much at all. Maybe for like around the face or something at the bowl. So when I get to right where her parting is in the front, I want that to be the statement piece, the really light piece around her face. So I'm going to actually take it and I'm going to do like a centimeter section from her front hairline, and I'm going to weave it out, and I'm going to lighten it all the way up to the scalp. So this is the only part that I'm lightening all the way up to her scalp. I just want that to be the statement, the seller piece right there in front that frames her face. So that's what I do. I think I do about maybe 2 foils there and then 2 on the other side of her part. But you decide how much hair they have, how much lightness you're giving them, things like that. Use your professional opinion. So that's how I achieved that really light piece right there. And the technique is pretty straightforward. You just take 1 inch sections, goodness gracious, and then divide it into 2 1/2 inch, and you lighten the top of one of the sections. And then I put my sections in foils just because I find they lighten better if they're contained in foils. So that way I don't have to use heat all the time. Sometimes I do if their hair is being a little stubborn, but I prefer not to use heat just because it helps the hair a little better stay healthier. But the foils do keep in heat. So that's why I like to use foils. Some people use like this mesh. Some people use plastic wrap. I've used both. Some people just lay it down, and I've done that too. But I just find this is my favorite technique for doing this kind of balayage, is using foils. So I do that all over the head. As you can see, it's very repetitive. Same thing, you want to mix it up. You don't want any of the sections to be the same because you want it to look really natural and sun-kissed, like they've just been out at the pool all summer long. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And I will see you at the end of the video. Okay, now we're moving on to the back, now that we've done the front 2 sections, and this back is really easy. I just take about 2 inches from the nape of the neck, and I'm going to take a centimeter section of hair all across the bottom. I do this one only on the bottom section, all the way across, and then I do the V technique. And on the bottom, you're not going to see it that much, but you do still want to add a little bit of lightness, especially if you're doing layers. Because you don't want the bottom section to not have any lightness, and then these layers come down and they're light at the ends and the ends underneath aren't light. It looks funny if that's the way it is. So I always do some at the bottom, even if you're not going to see it that much. And then I will start alternating the sections I'm taking. So what that means is I'm continually taking like an inch, half-inch section up the head, but I will alternate. I'll do a middle section, and then the next section I'll do 2 starting at the sides, just so there's more, movement going on. So you'll see this, I did the bottom one right across the whole thing. Then this section, I do 2 sections per with this one thing going to the sides, doing the V-shape technique, and then you'll see in the next section up, I will take just the middle section and leave like an inch, 2 inches on each side, and do the V technique in the middle. So you'll see how I do it. I'll just do that so there's more movement. It's not all the same, so when the hair is dry, it's not all laying, like the lightness is not on each side. It's like symmetrical, but this just adds more movement and more natural. You'll see. That's how I do the back. So this is the very last section, and for this top section I like to get it pretty close to the top because it's right on her crown, and so you want that piece kind of goes all over the back of her head, so you want that lightness to be spread out through the top of the back of her head, and you don't just want like a big streak right down the back. So this is what the end of the coloring looks like, and then this is the results after I shampooed her. I actually didn't use a real toner on her. I toned her with a purple shampoo. So that's